Chapter 36. Meet Your Radiant Self. I'd been led to her again and again, to the woman I loved so dearly. But what was that dark tigress trying to explain? And whenever I took a step, I noticed how the black tigress would take a step forward. She was always 10 steps ahead, and never a single step closer. As if she waited on me to take a step in any given direction, she was always 10 steps ahead, waiting to reveal a hidden instruction. The black tigress stood behind a large tree with roots that spread into the marsh when I took a step forward. And for the first time ever, that black tigress remained still while she waited 9 steps closer. Again, I took a step ahead, while the fierce black tigress remained still, now 8 steps ahead, as she allowed me to get even closer. Never in my life had I touched her, and there were no signs she had ever been captured. And as I walked closer, there under the tree was a secret doorway or portal. And what was most surprising is when I got close enough, I could see how this wild black tigress was covered in scars. "It's time," said the black tigress. "Time for what?" "Time to meet your radiant self," she said. From a distance, the dark skin of the tigress appeared to be spotted or striped, and now these scars revealed her battles from long before I'd even been alive. "What happened to you?" She smiled, unfazed that her body had been brutalized on every side. It seemed that each scar was a timeless story of how she had yet to die. "Let's just say, when it comes to evil, I've quite the appetite," said the black tigress. "Why have you brought me here?" "Among the progression of our soul, I am curious about who is willing to do whatever is required. I call many, but few answer, and only those on the highest path of devotion offer their lives in service of that which is transcendent," she said. "Do you mean Krishna? Let me meet you where you are, so we do not get lost in such a giant concept, but rather, let us talk about a wish you and the mermaid share, a wish to bring a child to Earth from beyond the cosmic ocean. Let us imagine the original divine parents, and we could consider a child who grows up under these loving parents. This simple idea of a human child's evolution captures how a soul evolves from selfishness to detachment to selfless love. At first, when a child is born, it lives in ignorance. As it grows to be selfish, demanding, and oblivious as to how the parents provide for them. When a young child is denied what they want, say a limitation to how much TV they can watch, a child could become furious and blames the parents for being unfair. This reckless action is motivated by selfish interest, as they seek worldly enjoyment, all without understanding the higher power or guidance. The child's essence exists in a state of ignorance, and if we were to zoom out in our world, this would categorize the majority of the people on the planet. Great yogis call this vikarma, as it is a self-interested mode of thinking, as a person wishes to take whatever they wish to get. Such parents may act out of love, recognizing that unless one matures enough, such a child will not find happiness if the child is purely selfish, since the world doesn't revolve around any person's individual desires. But still, a young soul may not be ready to hear this truth calmly, and any attempts to explain this to an unruly child are met with further hysteria, so the parents must enforce rules. The parents could say, "If you can't cooperate, there will be consequences," and they also offer rewards to encourage good behavior in a child. Notice here how the child and soul is still motivated by self-interest, but if they obey the rules, they will evolve beyond reckless action to informed action, learning that happiness depends on harmonizing with the higher will of the household or world. So as a child or any soul grows, they may realize that they wish for material things in life, but in this next step of development, they recognize that these things come from a higher power. The question for this person then becomes, how can I achieve or receive that which I wish? This appears in many religious traditions, and it's still a form of self-interest, even though it is more evolved than when an individual's actions are reckless. This state could be called karmic, and so we see how one may wish to get something from that which is transcendent if they do the right rituals, behave well, live well, treat others good, and then they will reap the benefits. In this case, along with the state of reckless action beneath it, the world is seen as a place for one's own enjoyment. As the child, soul, or person grows further, one may see through the game of reward and punishment. They may lose concern for self-interested actions, where they once strived for approval or privileges, which begins to feel petty to them. And so they evolve yet again, from this karmic stage of informed action to the deeper knowledge of themselves, of what can and cannot satisfy them. By turning inward with questions, away from the rewards they once enjoyed, they also withdraw emotionally from their parents. They live quietly, avoiding trouble, and they see this world as something to endure rather than to embrace. Rather than seeing the world as a place for one's enjoyment, here one begins to consider that the world may be a sort of prison. They are no longer a rebel, but neither does such a soul engage. They remain detached and aloof, disenchanted and even peaceful, failing to grasp the deeper meaning of their relationship to this world. There is an emptiness in the heart. Consider how this is all a soulful progression, or a child's pure evolution. And gradually, full maturity dawns when a child begins to hear from a wiser person the truth they missed. When a child meets such an elder, this trusted wise figure explains what the child couldn't see before. Here a child begins to understand how their parents' rules, their actions, patience, and even punishment were all expressions of pure love, guiding the child's soul toward the true source of happiness. Through this message, a child can see more clearly, and the heart can soften as they realize love was flowing all along. For the first time, the soul is not moved by fear or by self-interest, nor by detachment, but by love. This is the entrance into the heart, where one feels the joy of giving back, of pure service, where the soul honors the bond and love flows from God's heart into one's own soul, and from the soul back to God in perfect harmony. This is devotion, an awakening to the flow of love that is always there, but which could not be felt until the heart was purified of attachment, resentment, and pride. This is the path of the true evolution of our soul, said the dark tigress. So you explained that the journey begins with a sort of selfish interest, where a human goes on to learn from reward and punishment. Next, a person sees the world as their source of enjoyment. Then, if the soul evolves, it begins to understand that there is a deeper meaning than one's own selfish interest and enjoyments, and so the soul goes on to ask deep questions. This leads to a sense of detachment, where the world may appear as a prison, or a place where people are suffering. Yet in this detachment, that person is seeking a state of peace, as they are reaching for a feeling of oneness. But above all of it, you spoke of devotion, which is to be in service to that which is transcendent, and here we awaken to love through service. And so the dark tigress spoke. This progression I have explained is the unfolding journey available to every soul. It is unfolding within our very world. These are the stages of growth before a soul learns to live in harmony. The starting point of informed action speaks to those who see this world as a place meant for their pleasure. The individuals wish to live well and live right, and believe in prosperity and success. Through reward and punishment, they believe this comes through virtue, gratitude, and alignment with something higher, as it is a step above those who behave with reckless action. The souls who have began their journey trust that there is a deeper order to life, that each choice matters, and believe that goodness brings a return. This classifies the karmic individuals who see that this world is to be enjoyed, but not recklessly. They believe that there are laws to govern us and actions to govern us, where pain and pleasure serve as feedback, nudging us to make better choices. They understand that what we do matters, as it's all wired for our growth. The idea here is that we can enjoy this world, but the belief is to do it mindfully. The karmic motive is the pursuit of material enjoyment, not just for oneself, but for one's family, community, or even one's nation, as the goal is prosperity, stability, and happiness in this life and what comes next. Yet the higher view is to rise above the struggles of earthly life and to enter into a place of heaven, which is still viewed as an individual reward, said the dark tigress. And so this aim is always seeking a sort of reward. But you've also spoken about the progression beyond seeking something to gain for the individual. First, a person may behave reckless. Next, they find informed action, which speaks of a soul who stops rebelling. But after one seeks rewards, one may withdraw emotionally. In this space, one turns away from the world to seek freedom, like Jesus, going out into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, when one feels what the world has to offer, but finds it lacking, and seeks something deeper, realizing that even the finest pleasures will fade, leaving pain in their wake. What once brought joy becomes a source of anxiety, loss, grief, and with this realization comes a sobering truth. Even a life filled with material success is threaded with dissatisfaction and suffering. This is the path of a spiritual seeker who searches for knowledge and concepts even beyond words, where they view the world as a sort of illusion. Here that seeker discovers that this world is not a stable home and realizes how all forms are fleeting, pleasures uncertain, and sorrows inevitable, and beneath it all lies the biggest problem. Form is bound to time, change, and death. In contrast to the karmic view, where this world is real and seen for enjoyment, here the soul sees the world as unreal, a trap, a prison, or a place to be transcended. The goal in this mindset becomes liberation, to transcend this suffering, to attain supreme bliss and removal of pain. This idea of liberation is not so much about attaining heaven, but seeking a way to transcend all of it, knowing that if you seek one side, the other dualistic side is there to balance it. In this sense, the soul is not interested in doing something or getting something for one's own personal satisfaction, but rather here, there is a search to realize the ultimate mystery of existence. This person seeks to know the truth and to let go of everything else. This idea of a spiritual seeker may believe that for the divine to be perfect, it must be free from flaws. And when we look at the world, all forms and personalities are flawed, and so this world must be illusory and transcended, she said. Yet there is a third aspect that you spoke of, that of devotion. As the maturing child finally awakens to the love that was always there, the seeker realizes how there is a deep and profound love that has always been lovingly present, guiding, sustaining, and patiently waiting for the soul to respond. Devotion is not about temperament, but about receptivity. It speaks not to a personality type, but to a soul who is inwardly prepared and ready, in a deep and subtle way, to enter into a relationship with the divine. For many, this readiness emerges after a long journey, when seeking rewards no longer satisfies, when the silence of deep spiritual seeking no longer fulfills, when detachment brings relief but not joy, then the heart begins to stir again. When one doesn't seek freedom from the world, but freedom to offer oneself to something greater, this is the longing to which devotion responds. Not a desire to escape, but a desire to connect. Devotion speaks to the soul that is open to the rising of the intuition that love is life's highest purpose, not the fleeting love of worldly entanglement, but a deeper love that is selfless and sacred. Here the world is not a playground for enjoyment, nor an illusory prison to withdraw from, and in some sense it is both, but so much more. Through the wisdom of devotion, the world is revealed as the sacred energy of the divine, which is a real, ever-fluctuating expression of God's potency meant to be engaged with devotion. The person who lives in devotion sees the world not as a static backdrop or as a meaningless series of events, but as a living, responsive reality, moving with purpose, offering experiences designed to shape the soul's evolution towards pure love. This world becomes a classroom for the heart, where the soul is meant to learn, to grow, and to rediscover its eternal nature through experience, reflection, and grace. In full maturity, one experiences the world as permeated with divine presence, seeing God everywhere and in everything. The motive for a soul in this stage of devotion is that the soul's long journey through the material world is understood as a gradual purification of intention, a process meant to free the heart from self-centered desires. Even if one reaches for this, it is not truly devotion until the heart is freed, not only from urges to enjoy the world, but even the desire to escape it. Both are seen as forms of selfishness, rooted in the question, what will satisfy me? The motive of devotion is divine love, called prema, a love that is utterly pure, living for the beloved, not just a feeling, but the soul's deepest truth and ultimate purpose, that we are made not to consume or retreat, but to serve, give, and love. And love, as shown through all nature, is selfless. Paradoxically, it is in this complete self-offering that the soul discovers its own highest joy. When the soul is fully absorbed in satisfying the object of its love, then we find our deepest satisfaction. This is the great secret meant to be uncovered on the soul's long wandering journey, and so we call it devotion, she said. Devotion? Then this is different from every other experience. This sparks an inner shift unlike anything that came before, and for the first time, the soul begins to act not out of selfish interest, but from a place of uncalculated selflessness. In the karmic path, the aim was prosperity, and next, as the knowledge seeker, there is relief through renunciation. But both were focused on the individual self, whereas devotion marks a turning point, the awakening of the true heart's potential, not to take or reject, but to give. And with the awakening comes joy, a joy not rooted in control or detachment, but in connection. Whereas the knowledge seeker is led to see the frailty of life, that change is evident, that all form and personality are not perfect, that in time all will dissolve, they believe that this illusion of the world must be transcended. Yet for someone on the path of devotion, one realizes that there is something transcendent that gave rise to the world and everything in it, and thus we devote our lives to it, she said. Out of all the days of my life, you've never allowed me to get this close, and after all this time, you have led me in ways I never realized as you promoted my self-realization, evolution, and growth. Long ago as a child, I came into the world and believed this world was here for my own enjoyment. Then, as my parents raised me, I took informed action, knowing there were consequences to all of my choices. In order to prosper, I was led to do good, but I was still focused on self-interested outcomes. As my soul grew, the journey through life sparked many questions, and I even entered a period of renunciation. After selling my home and giving up my belongings, I began backpacking and traveling around the world. Living upon farms and seeking advice from elders, I gazed into life to see this world for what it was as I examined the nature of human suffering. After my travels, life was no longer seen as enjoyable, but rather the world appeared as a prison that needed to be transcended. With serious intention, I closed out the world and focused my energy upon spiritual practices in hopes I could liberate my soul out of all hardship. After many years of seeking the deeper spiritual knowledge, still there was a self-interest, and the more I tried to satisfy myself, the more I realized how I was pushing this life away, as if I could escape it. Even though I found relief through the spiritual practices, something was missing, and now I understand how the heart is stirring. When one doesn't seek freedom from the world, but the freedom to offer oneself to something greater is what we call devotion. O great Mother of the universe, great Father of creation, I wish to offer myself to you in loving service, not seeking anything in return. But now I see how there is something beyond the limits of decay, time, and death, which leads all of us home to the source of creation. The personality of God is supreme, and since I know that my body and mind will perish, I offer my soul to you, to that which is transcendent in loving devotional service. This is not up to me, but rather God can use my life however you wish. Life in this world is fleeting and subject to change, as I'm now aware from the rising of the intuition that love is life's highest purpose. You have shown me that within and beyond this world, there is a spiritual force which is pure, divine, and transcendent. And even if life contains suffering and is bound by time, decay, and death, I am not here to consume for my own selfish interest or enjoyment, nor am I here to try and escape this worldly entanglement, but rather I offer my life in service of the deeper love that is selfless and sacred. My son, you make me so proud. Now it is time to look within and take action through the offering of your heart. And so now, the journey of devotion starts, said the dark tigress.